trends in enterprise messaging can really be boiled down to three key messages. Okay, one, messaging is the new platform. Two, bots are the new app. And three, the message is the new UI. Let me explain. And along with the rise of mobile consumer messaging, right? Everybody uses WhatsApp, WeChat, Line, Kakao, and so on. It's easy to chat with a friend halfway around the world, but it's hard for businesses to talk to their colleague halfway around the city. The reason is, these consumer apps don't work for enterprises. So there's a rise of new enterprise messaging apps like Slack, like Teamchat, that's produced by us, and many other tools as well. And they're designed to work in the enterprise context. They're more secure, they support larger teams, they're more structured, and so on. But even more interesting, as these messaging apps come in, they're being used not just for basic chat, but they're being used for more advanced things as well. It could be sales tracking, it could be HR workflows, it could be inventory tracking, and all kinds of structured communication, right? So the messaging app is becoming a platform on top of which all these services are being built, leading to a lot of interesting sort of examples, okay? The second aspect, if you build on it, is that messaging bots are a way in which these services get automated, right? So what's a messaging bot? A bot is it's really just a software program, but it behaves like any other human user using chat. So the bot can send and receive messages like other human users, but they have program logic, which means they can automate the messaging workflows. Let's take a simple example, right? Let's say if you have an approval workflow. So the bot, when somebody sends a travel request, the bot will first send it to the first manager. Once that person approves, it goes to the second manager, then goes to HR and finance, for example. So the bot knows how to redirect the message, receive the replies, and handle the next step. And if you think about it, these messaging bots can enable automation of these services, which lead to, again, it just unlimited potential in terms of what's possible. And the last point is that once you have these bots being set up, end users don't need to learn anything new. Chatting with a bot is just like chatting with any other person. The only user interface is the message itself, right? So the bot asks you for the sales figure, you send it the information, it sends you approval, it gives you inventory status, product details, whatever it is that an enterprise employee is looking for, and it just becomes really, really simple. So just to reiterate, messaging is the new platform, the bot is the new app, and the message is the new UI. Driven by messaging, the way employees interact with each other determines how efficient, how productive, how nimble, how responsive the company can be. And companies that leverage enterprise messaging in more effective ways will have a huge competitive advantage, right? They'd be a nimble competitor, they can deal with dynamic competitive changes, they can deal with unique customer requests, and just respond much faster. They're much more agile. Clearly, consumer messaging has grown so quickly that end users are very familiar with messaging apps. They use it all the time. And in fact, many millennials, the younger employees, wonder why can't enterprise messaging or enterprise communication be as simple, as easy as their personal or social messaging is, right? So it's very critical for enterprise executives to drive messaging throughout the organization. And messaging can become the single, simple front end for managing or interacting with all the back-end apps. CRM, ERP, HR, all these complicated tools in the back end can in many ways be simplified. The interface can be simplified by using a very simple messaging interface. And at Teamchat, for example, or even Slack, we are enabling these capabilities. The challenges faced by most enterprises when they try to deploy enterprise messaging is that getting employees to adopt yet another messaging app, yet another tool. They're very familiar with WhatsApp or WeChat or their favorite sort of messaging app, And I think in our experience with some of the companies that we worked with, what we found is HDFC is one of our best customers, and they deployed it in their sales organization. And initially there was some resistance, but what they did was they automated, along with sales tracking, there were automated bots which could compute a leaderboard, right? So the leaderboard would identify who the top salesperson was every day, and that person would receive a gift voucher at the end of the day through the app itself. And once they did that, suddenly everybody got motivated. They started adopting the app more widely. People called in saying, what app, what phone do I need to get to set it up? So ultimately, if it's beneficial for the employees, they'll adopt it in great numbers. So really the biggest challenge is just status quo or inertia, and I think it requires there's very simple and creative ways in which you can break through that challenge. Teamchat is a smart messaging app for the enterprise. Why smart? Because Teamchat comes with smart messages. Unlike a plain message, a plain text message, a smart message has data and code inside it. For example, let's take a poll or a survey, right? The message itself has 2 or 3 buttons as required, and the users can interact with those buttons right within the message. But more interestingly, when a user clicks that button, the message knows what to do with it. So if it's a poll, for example, it knows that it's supposed to aggregate the responses and give you a total vote count. If you're doing sales tracking, for example, it knows to add up all the sales numbers and show you the aggregate total. So this is a very unique and innovative idea of smart messages. Teamchat has filed patents for it, and we've come up with a very interesting thing. A lot of our customers are using that part of Teamchat. The other innovative thing about Teamchat is that there are APIs to enable messaging bots. These are sort of robots or programs that can respond, that can chat with other human users, and these bots can be used to enable interesting workflows, messaging-based workflows, such as it could be sales tracking or HR, ERP, CRM, all kinds of interactive use cases. So Teamchat in that sense is a very unique app. It's being used by thousands of organizations worldwide in lots of interesting ways, and I think it's really transforming enterprise communications. The future of enterprise messaging is very interesting. I think the world a few years from today is going to look very, very different in terms of enterprise messaging. Messaging is going to get so good that you're going to have global, geographically distributed enterprises where employees are in different parts of the world, but still extremely well connected, extremely well coordinated, in sync with each other. You're going to have automated bots, essentially algorithmic employees, algorithmic managers, almost sort of algorithmic organizations that are they automate their workflows, their processes, resource allocation, prioritization. All of that is being done by the best combination of sort of the human mind as well as the computing brain. Sort of this man-machine combination is going to create very interesting sort of possibilities, and all of this is going to be enabled with efficient enterprise messaging, right? It means messaging that is smart. It's not just sort of plain chat, but there are smart messages that enable workflows. There are automated processes and workflows. So the big idea really is messaging enables not just communication and collaboration, which were the first 2 waves of activity, but it enables coordination, coordinating resources, activating and deactivating resources, assigning tasks, and prioritizing things, and so on. That's what most organizations do, and that's what's going to be enabled through smart messaging and bots. And that's what, at Teamchat, we are focused on bringing this vision to life.